You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's I Dream of NeNe, the wedding after show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's I Dream of NeNe, the wedding after show.
Now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team in. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom.
We'll just give you a slow groove at the beginning, and then we'll go into Bing is for doing, and welcome to the AfterBuzz TV after show for I Dream of NeNe, the wedding. This is season 1, episode 2, Patch the Leaks. And they patch the leaks. I'm gonna patch this leak right now and say my name is Jake DuPree.
I'm Michelle Renee. Hey, everybody.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and I'm so glad that this show did so well. Last week in the ratings, it got 1.5 million viewers on its opening night, which is phenomenal. Most sitcoms can't even say that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
New show, got it. Boom,
Get
beep,
it,
beep, boop. All right, so let's get into it. We see Miss NeNe Leakes in New York meeting with Donald Trump. I don't know why. I just would not think he would film for anyone else's show but his own. Is that weird for me to think?
I don't know. I don't really know much about him. I just think that
you don't need to know anything about him, really.
I just know that he's like Donald Trump, and he's like kind of a big deal. And I think that her not only like meeting with him, but her just having like a relationship with him now is kind of a testament to how far she's really come. Could you imagine like first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, NeNe sitting across from Donald Trump?
No, with that bad weave and like.
Yeah,
no.
And just her boisterousness that she had back then. So she's refined herself a little bit. She's still NeNe. She still has a fabulous personality, but I think she's learned how to kind of put it on and off.
Be a little bit more polished.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that we kind of see the original NeNe back whenever she gets with the kids.
Yes.
That's like first season reunion NeNe.
Yeah.
Which I like. I can be down with it.
Oh wait, she wasn't the one that pulled Kim's wig. That was Sheree. Okay.
I didn't pull it. I gave it a little. I shifted it. Is that what she said? Yes. So and then she asked Donald Trump's opinion about getting the prenup and on blended families, and he was like, they're both tough, but he's like, either he signs the document or there's no wedding. I was like, all right, Donald Trump, he gets it.
Do you think that would actually happen? I mean, I'm gonna assume that Gregg will go ahead and sign the prenup.
Yeah.
But do you think that she would really not marry him? No. I think she would. I think she'd marry him without a prenup.
Marry him. Yeah. I mean, there might be like something like a document, maybe not a prenup, but like saying something like in a will or something to be like, this is what the assets will be. Mm-hmm. I mean, he obviously wants to be with her, so it's like, whatever, he's going to do this. And I like that Donald Trump was like, are you sure you're doing the right thing? There's like lots of issues that are like going on. She was like, yeah, I think so. I mean, but they've been married for like 15 years, so it's like, get over it.
How many times has Donald Trump been married?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
A lot. And he has a huge prenup.
Yeah, it's probably like
with each of them.
Yeah, you don't get like a crumb.
Yeah,
you don't get like a carpet fiber.
You better hope that you have a child with him so that you can get at least like something.
Some of the child's income.
Exactly. And then we see Gregg and Peter hanging out, and I don't know how you feel about Peter, but I really like Peter a lot. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about him, but I like that he is kind of like NeNe. Like they're just like kind of crazy and like they say whatever they want.
I don't like Peter. I mean, I don't like Peter. That was mean, but he's not one of my favorite characters. I think that he tries to be really philosophical, and he always talks a lot. But then at the end of it, you're kind of like, well, what was the takeaway point of that? He was literally talking for like what seemed like a million years in the car, and then at the end of it, Gregg's face is kind of like,
what? And we thought the same. We were like, wait, what just happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Now with NeNe, on the other hand, I think when she says something, it's like boom, and we know exactly what she means. She says it like it is.
Mm-hmm. I like that Peter didn't know about Gregg's 5 children from his previous marriage. She was like, Cynthia told me you have 5 kids, and Gregg was like, yeah, I have 5 kids. They're really great looking. I was like, what?
This like the beginning of the episode was just like the advice from people that shouldn't be given advice about a wedding or relationships with kids or anything. Like,
Exactly.
Donald Trump's been married however many times. Like,
And
Peter
probably
also
has had a nanny raise his kids.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest.
Peter has 5 kids. He was like jokingly called Papa Smurf, like in a very like pejorative way. So it's just like, do these people like really need to be the
giving him
people you're
advice.
confiding in?
Exactly.
No.
But at least he has someone to talk to, I guess.
Instead of play a
But yeah, those scenes are just weird. It reminds me of like the scenes with Kim and
talking to her
Croy, that little boy
baby.
always at the thing. That's so weird. But Peter also said, he was like, if my wife and my kids are at odds, I'm always going to choose my kids. Do you agree with that?
No, I think it should be based on who's right or wrong in the situation.
Yeah. Like, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, that can't always be true. Like, you can't always just side with your kids.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe at a certain point when your kids are younger and they don't know what's going on or they're not mature enough to know right from wrong, but when your kids are grown, like Gregg's kids are,
there's a side to choose.
There's a side
and there's
to
a right and
choose.
wrong
Yeah.
side too. And also, Peter says he has 5 kids from his previous relationships,
yeah,
like multiple people. I was like, damn. these
and none
people-
with Cynthia.
And none with Cynthia.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're older too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but it just, especially after that comment, like, I'm going to always take my kid's sides. It's just like, well, dang, poor Cynthia doesn't even have a kid with him. It's
So-
like, maybe if she had a kid with him, her side could kind of be taken.
Then maybe
but
he could like, yeah,
if,
no.
if it hits the fan, then she's
Bye,
just
Cynthia.
SOL.
Yeah, go to the curb. Sorry. And then we go to Gregg and NeNe at lunch, and she brings up the whole thing. I mean, it's kind of like reiterating the same thing. Like, what was interesting about this conversation was that the 3 youngest kids from Gregg's previous relationship used to live with them right when Gregg and NeNe first got together. And then one day, all of a sudden, they just weren't there. Like, the mom didn't bring them back, and it was to punish Gregg, basically. I mean, this is weird. Like, I'm like, this is people's real life. Like, I don't understand that. That's so strange to me. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if NeNe was living in the house with Gregg, then they would have had a mother figure. But I mean, I've always kind of been of the,
They live with the mom.
The kids go with the mom, unless the mom's on drugs or, abusing the kids or whatever,
Yeah.
And especially the girl, which I don't know if she's one of the younger ones or if she's one of the twins. Because none of those 2 kids looked like twins to me.
No, they didn't.
So I don't exactly know where the set of twins is. But I mean, especially with the little girl, I think she should be with the mom. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I just thought it was so weird that was like a
Yeah.
thing. Like, that's so dramatic and so crazy. I just can't picture someone's life being like that. And then NeNe reveals that Dr. Jeff is going to be the mediator with them at the meeting with the kids. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next scene, which was Gregg hanging out with his groomsmen in the basement. I thought this scene was really, really funny. This groomsman, there was one in a blue shirt. Blue shirt, man, he is looking fine. We like it.
Fine as wine.
We down with that. We are down with that. We were like, hello.
He's cute.
Hello.
We thought there was a second cute one, but then they did like another take on him, and we were like,
No double chin.
yeah.
No thanks.
I mean, none of them are bad looking. Like,
Yeah.
they all look nice. They all look professional.
refined. Yeah.
Clean cut. And so I like that.
Yeah.
But
And it looks like they're having like a really good time. And I like that NeNe came down there and then she tells them that they can't gain weight. She's like, you're going to get measured for a suit and you cannot go away from that at all. And she had this really funny quote. She was like, if you're going to be in my wedding, you can't have a gun. And if you have a gun, you're going to wear a girdle. And like, that's it. I love that. I think that's really funny.
yeah. And well, I don't know. Actually, I mean, all of her bridesmaids seem to be in good shape.
Yeah.
But was the girdle comment, was that a shot? Was that shade?
Maybe.
That was shade.
Maybe a little bit
I think it was
shady,
shade
yeah.
to somebody, but we don't know who it was shade to because we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah. I mean, she can have a little shady dig
Yeah.
sometimes. So I'm anxious to hear who the girdle wearer is.
Shade, honey.
Next up, this is my favorite scene. I want to talk about this scene for like 10 years because it was Marlo, Cynthia, and Diana out to lunch. The ladies who lunch.
Ladies who lunch.
And I always will say it. I'm in love with Marlo. I don't know what it is about her, but I think she's just over the top and crazy and just so much fun to watch. I love her.
I like Marlo too.
Yeah. She brings the drama. I mean, look at this. They had this like little bitty segment with them and there was already crazy drama with her and Diana. And I like that NeNe shows off her 15-karat cushion cut ring. And she was like,
And she says we chose.
Yeah.
So Does that mean she's
She
having
had
to pay
a say
for
in it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure. I'm sure. 15
just
carats,
wondering.
she would have to pay for that, I'm sure.
I do really like her ring though, because I think that a lot of times really big diamonds look kind of like fake almost.
It looks like costumey,
Yeah,
like kind of over the top and ridiculous.
Yeah, like Lisa Vanderpump's ring, Leah Black's ring.
Kyle Richards' ring,
Yeah, they're
just
so
like-
big that it looks like.
Why do you need that? But this
Yeah.
looks like, it looks nice. Maybe it's because, I don't know.
Maybe
It's just
'cause
like,
the
it looks,
cushion cut.
maybe.
It's got a little more bling to it.
Yeah,
more
it just
sparkle.
looks nice. It just looks clean and beautiful and tasteful, which is not over the top, which she is over the top. So,
Yeah,
whatever.
I like it.
Yeah. And of course, NeNe was like, I want to celebrate all of you guys. Like, I want this to be a celebration as much for us as it is a celebration for you, because you were all there for me throughout all this hard time. And you've seen me like go through the trials and tribulations from like being super low to being like amazing and where she is now. And she also reveals that there's other bridesmaids, Pat, who does her hair in New York, Marcella, who is, I can't remember who she was.
know.
Yeah,
She just-
Lexus, who all the girls seem to like. Jennifer Williams, who they all didn't really have much of an opinion about. They just kind of said whatever. Dawn Robinson, and then Laura. And then Laura was somebody that they just really don't like. And is she from Basketball Wives LA?
She's from Basketball Wives LA. Jennifer Williams is from Basketball Wives Miami, or
New
the
York,
original
whatever.
Basketball Wives. Yeah.
Wherever they're from. And wait, I've never been a fan of the Basketball Wives LA. I just thought that they weren't. This is really mean, but I just didn't think that they were as attractive as the Miami ones, so I didn't really watch them.
The Miami ones are really pretty collectively as a cast, but I think there are a few LA ones that are really pretty. And
Is Laura one of them?
Laura is one of them. But the thing about Laura is that she kind of went through a transformation. You know, that reality TV show, oh, dang, I
see
just saw
myself,
myself
yeah.
first season. And now I like, and she actually looks really good, like on camera. And I saw her one time in, I think at the Ralphs in like Santa Monica, like
Wow.
one of the Ralphs in Santa Monica. And I was like, oh my God, she's really pretty. Like,
All right.
even like dressed down, she was like really pretty. So
Okay, and I think, and Diana has this opinion about all these women because she's like, I've been with NeNe since the very beginning, and all of you, I feel like some of them are opportunists, and she brings up that she thinks Marlo is an opportunist. Do you think Marlo is an opportunist?
I mean,
I think
Yes.
she is, but
Yes.
not in a bad way.
yeah, not in a bad way. But
Like-
I mean, who isn't an opportunist?
I mean, it's true. It's just the way you go about it.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing it for all the wrong reasons? Or are you doing it just to better yourself too? Like, to really like, you know, I think it's nice to surround yourself with people that you aspire to be like.
Yeah. And I mean, me and my friends, for instance, like, you know, we kind of have like a little saying, like, one eats, we all eat. It's like, you know, if you're in a group of friends, like, and maybe you do think one of them's an opportunist, why would you not want her to be able to enjoy some success?
Yeah.
If she can be included, meet someone because she's your friend, or be on a television show because she's your friend. Like, what's it to you, Diana?
And yeah, exactly. And I think Marlo wants to be, she wants to be on camera. Like, she wants to be someone that's on a reality show and has a personality. And I think that's okay if that's what she really wants. And I do think that she genuinely likes NeNe because, I mean, they did have friction a little bit right when they first met because of that whole relationship with that football player, and NeNe was supposedly dating
Charles
him
was
too.
his
Charles,
name.
yeah. And I mean, and they got along, and I think that they sparked a connection because it was like the two of them against that entire cast that one season. So it's just like interesting that Diana would have such a problem, but I think Diana was worried that she would be pushed out, you know, instead of being kept in. And I think that won't ever happen because Diana's been there literally since season 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And probably way before that too. But it's just interesting that Diana has such issues with these girls.
Yeah. Well, my first comment is that as far as the opportunistic aspect that she's trying to say these women are using NeNe for, I know Jennifer and Laura aren't obviously as big a reality stars as NeNe, but they've both been on their own reality shows.
And they both have lines of their own, like
Yeah.
Lucid Cosmetics and stuff, so they can stand alone without her.
Not only that, but I think she kind of, I don't know, she says, like, I was with you when you, like, started from the bottom. Like, that's a little offensive to say anyone started from the bottom. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I've been your friend longer, or I've been your friend since the beginning.
or I've been with since the cameras weren't around, or like since
Yeah.
you weren't on TV, like.
But started from the bottom. Is that shade?
Yeah.
So, and then also my other comment is that Diana, I I don't think it wasn't necessarily that I disagree with her feelings about, feeling threatened or, feeling, I guess.
That's a natural thing for people to feel, I think.
But I just think that she handled it incorrectly. Like, why would you have a conversation at lunch with Marlo, who's a new friend, about how
she's not a good friend?
She's not a new friend.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, she should have pulled NeNe to the side. She should have spoken with her about that and, just let her know how she felt about it. And in addition, she could have even thrown in the fact, I want to be your maid of honor.
Yeah.
If you're going to have one.
Yeah. And I like that NeNe said no maid of honor, because I think these girls, I think it'd just be too much competition. And obviously we see later in the season that there's already other bridesmaids, yes. Other bridesmaids drama. And I'm really happy with the bridesmaid situation. I think it is so, this is the stuff that I want to watch. Like, it's Real Housewives of Atlanta. I would be happy if, like, NeNe went off and did her own show just with these 9 girls. Yeah, that'd be I would be in heaven if that happened, because these girls are like, they know how to bring the drama, they know how to be a little bit crazy, and there's like all kind of different personalities. I think it'd be amazing. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
Do we think Diana's jealous at all, or is that not a possibility?
I think that she maybe feels left out because all these other girls are involved with TV in general, and she also knows that NeNe can be an opportunist in terms of like wanting to be around people like that, and maybe she feels like, well, I have nothing to offer in that department, but I've been there through everything else.
Well, she's not married. I did see that, so I'm like.
And then Marlo, this is what I like about Marlo, is that if she's being attacked, she will come right back and attack you the exact same way.
But with something that has nothing to do with the argument, which I do the same thing too, so I understand that, but it's like, are you dating a rich man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you having kids with a rich man? I was like, that's an opportunist. I was like, that's Marlo. I like that.
She just pulled it from nowhere, but okay.
Yeah. It's like the whole hole between your legs. Before you talk about mine, measure yours, to Kim.
Yeah.
She's good with comebacks, and she does remind me a lot of NeNe, except she needs to be not as I feel like NeNe's tasteful with her arguments, and she cuts you, and that's it. But Marlo likes to dredge up all this bad stuff to make you look as bad as possible.
Yeah, and she likes to get the last word a lot, and that's why we see her and Sheree going back and forth, whatever that was. And then in this argument too, it's just she likes to yell over the other person and just.
I know that Cynthia's just sitting there in the corner. Cynthia always sitting in the corner, just saying. I love Cynthia, and I think she's fabulous, but she. I don't know.
She has to be. Peter's her husband, so she can't say anything.
They can't be over the top. I guess they both can't be over the top.
They both can't be speaking.
Exactly.
Well, guys, head over to iTunes and be sure to let us know, do you think Diana's overreacting? Do you think she's jealous? What are your thoughts on the whole bridesmaids war? Per se. You can do that at iTunes. Like I said, while you're there, rate and comment on our after show. Also, make sure you check out The Adventures of Serial Buddies, which is a comedy that was actually produced by the creators of AfterBuzz TV here, Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. You can not only get that on iTunes, but you can also get it at Blockbuster, Target, Netflix, and
Barnes
7-Eleven.
Noble, yes, wherever
and
you can.
7-Eleven. So, thanks.
Buy it. Support us. There it is. And then we see NeNe and Diana in the car. And, of course, Diana's saying that she has reservations about Marlo because she thinks that Marlo is riding NeNe's coattails. And Diana doesn't feel like she should be standing next to Marlo in, a group of friends as NeNe's bridesmaids. I understand her point. I really do. I get it. It's just this is NeNe's day. And if NeNe wants to have these people that she's been friends with for a day, let her have it.
Yeah.
Let her have the day. Let her have that. Diana knows if she was secure in their friendship that they would be friends way after all these girls had even, come and gone.
Yeah.
So just move on.
And
That's how I feel.
It's like a wedding. It's not like she's inviting Marlo to live with her
or they're not casting another show.
It's just it's a wedding. It's going to take place. Obviously the show is, on now.
Yeah.
So I guess she is going to be seen more than just the one day, but it's just, I don't know. I think she's making a mountain out of a molehill. And if I were NeNe, I would just tell her she needs to zip her mouth or else her spot in the wedding is jeopardized.
Yeah. And I think that Diana knows that NeNe would eventually say that to her if she continued on with being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like Diana, though. I still really do like her for some reason. I think that it's cool to see that she's a ride or die friend, kind of. So that's my opinion. And I see that we see that Gregg meets with his brother, Reverend George, and his sister, Patsy. Hey, Patsy. I like her green jacket. It was cute. And he hasn't seen them in 5 years. I'm like, what is with these people and family? Like, I don't understand it. Like, why? Like, how do you just not see somebody for 5 years? That's your family. Like, I understand a cousin, but like your brother or your sister, like, seriously?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm thinking that all of these relationships are, I mean, for whatever reason, strained, but definitely only being brought together by production of the show.
I mean, well, yeah.
Because we've never seen these people before. We've never heard of them before. Half the people on the show we didn't even know existed. We didn't know that there were kids. We didn't know that there were brothers and sisters. We didn't know that there was ex-wives and all of this.
20-year marriages before NeNe. Like,
yeah.
Damn.
So it's just like, I think that maybe the producers were like, this show has to be kind of centered around family. We need you to contact A, B, C, and D and
make it happen.
Yeah. And it just happened to be like, oh, well, really? Because I haven't talked to him in 5 years.
I just can't believe this. Do you think that maybe that Real Housewives of Atlanta kind of drove a wedge between all these people and him?
I don't know what it was, because if you look at their lunch, there wasn't any bad blood. They were getting along.
It seemed like there had been no time that passed.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know what. I mean, maybe they don't live in Atlanta.
Maybe not. Maybe, you never know.
Yeah, I don't
maybe
know.
that has to deal with it, because I mean they've been traveling a lot too. Like they were going back and forth to LA and all that. And they acknowledged that. He were like, "Oh, look at your California tan and stuff," and he was like,
Yeah.
"I look good, don't I?"
Yeah.
That was cute.
And I mean, I think generally speaking, I don't know, this might be a stereotype, but with black families, I think there's a lot more emphasis on families, and
Yeah.
you have family reunions and cousins are always over, and
It seems
everything.
like there's more in tune with like your extended family as well.
Yeah, and in this case, it's not the case.
No.
So
No.
I don't know.
I mean, and it seems. Do you think that NeNe has had that effect on the family? Like, we'll get into this in a minute because we'll go into the meeting and stuff. But do you think that it's NeNe's fault at all that there's this wedge that's been driven? Because I do, kind of.
I would say that maybe it's NeNe's fault in the sense that Gregg stopped seeing his family after he got with NeNe, but I don't think it's necessarily her fault in her
She
being like,
didn't force.
no, don't go see them. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. It's just, I think that she required a lot of his attention, and she wanted that attention to stay on herself. I mean, and that's understandable, but it's like you also have to, like his son Damien says, you have to acknowledge the bloodline. Like, there's people that have come before you that you have to respect and be a part of.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I'm glad that we're hearing all this stuff, because this is like real life stuff that people like also probably need help with. So it's interesting. And then we see Brent, and he is so grown up. It's so cute seeing him, because I don't know, there's always just been like this soft place in my heart for Brent. I think he's just like cute.
He is cute. I just keep seeing Brent at the table when NeNe like gets the results of her paternity test.
Yeah.
And he's like, what does it say?
Yeah. Curtis is not my father. Yeah, I love that.
That's like the only image of him that I have in my head. So to see him as like a grown man.
With this like deep voice.
Yeah, with this like deep voice and like this like linebacker like build. I'm like, whoa, what happened?
I
like,
know. Like,
when
where did the
that
time
happen?
go?
Where was that transition? And
No.
never.
I mean, because even seeing it on Real Housewives of Atlanta when NeNe was going back and forth to LA for the show and for the new normal, he was still, I mean, not like a little kid, but he was still smaller build than this. Like, this is crazy. And I think it's cool that he was like, I don't want you to I want you to stay in Atlanta. Like, that's cute. Like, that's really cute to see, like, a kid being like, I want you to be home with me because you're more fun than my dad. That was really cute.
That is
I don't know.
cute.
I love them. Of course. So let's get to the finale of all finales. And this was the most dramatic. And I'm sure it's going to continue next week. But we see the meeting with the kids. And it seemed pretty decent at the beginning. Like, when they first came over and they were eating, it seemed like they were just been like hanging out for real.
Yeah, they walked in.
Yeah.
People, they weren't like angry. They seemed happy to see NeNe and their dad.
And she seemed happy to see
Yeah.
them too. And then I love how Gregg was like, y'all need to stop eating. Hurry up and eat so we can get to this talk. I was like, why do we have to hurry?
Yeah, that's not going to be awkward at all.
Yeah, you should like let them like kind of like settle in and like be comfortable, and then let's go and hit him with
Yeah,
the...
let the food digest.
It was-
Okay, I will say, one of his sons, the one in the red hat, whose name is Daryl, was giving me J. Cole a little bit. Did anyone
I
see
could totally
it?
see that. Whenever he first walked in, I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
J.
hold on.
Cole. And then everyone I know saw this. Damien was definitely giving me Dennis Rodman.
I can't.
You did not see.
It was those piercings on the hat. Like, what was that?
Yeah, it was the piercings on the hat. It was the piercings on his body.
And he's also very smart because he wore his Leaks Entertainment shirt.
Oh, he did?
Like, obviously, he has an entertainment company. I was like, get your promotion. Like, because, you know, people are going to watch the show and be like, oh, I wonder what this is about. And, like, see it. Like, that's really smart.
Okay, wait. Well, who produced this show? NeNe
Leaks Entertainment.
Oh,
This is
not to
just
be confused.
Not to be
Okay.
not to be confused with that.
Okay.
So, it sounds like he's into music because he was at that radio station, which we get to. Mm-hmm. And before we get to that, let's say Dr. Jeff, he shows up. And this man, I feel like he is not prepared for, like, dealing with these strong personalities of these people at all.
No.
Like we were saying, we were joking during watching the show. We were like, he is probably dealing with some, like, bitchy white people. They're like, oh, I hate you. I hate my stepmom. She didn't buy me a gift. I hate you so much. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's not used to, like, these people that are really going to lay it out for you and lay it out honest and completely go at each other. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Because like Greg said, like last episode, black people really don't go to counseling like that. They go to church, they pray about it, they fight each other, and then it's done.
Yeah, you talk
and
about
to
it and
anyone
it's
listening
over.
to this, I am black, just so you guys know. I'm not racist. I'm black.
Yeah, so don't judge her, okay? And then we see, of course, we get into it, and the first thing that comes out of Greg's mouth, and he was like, I want to know, honestly, if all of you think that NeNe was the reason why her, like, my mom, or your mom and me broke up. Like, do you think that NeNe is the reason? And they were all like, no.
Yes. When he first started off like that, I was like, no, why are we going
I was
this
like,
strong?
it was like there was a slow roller coaster build, like, oh yeah, half bay, and then it was just dropped, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like this can't
0
go.
to 60 and like,
And that's
a second.
that's uncomfortable anyway. Like, what? How do you think she feels? Like,
but I think the reason why he did that is because he knew their response was going to be no.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
true. And she, I mean, she was probably wanting. She was probably thinking they were going to be like, yes, it's all
Yes.
NeNe's fault. That blah blah blah. Yeah. Well, but it seems like Greg has had some philandering ways previous to NeNe.
Yes, because
So-
NeNe throws some shade her
She was
husband's
like,
way.
He had a girlfriend while they were married, and it wasn't me.
All right, NeNe.
All right. We have to talk about her Blanc line. Bloop, Blanc. She said, she was like, whenever Damien was like, there's a bloodline, you need to respect it. She was like, when I came into this family, well, we weren't coming into religion or politics. And then she said, when I took this last name, I only helped or what did she say? Something, I helped the family.
I helped it. Yeah.
I helped it. Plonk. I was like, yes. That's
Yes,
amazing.
NeNe.
It's like, that's NeNe that we all
Yes.
love right there. And I mean, like, what do you think about, do you think that NeNe honestly, I mean, we talked about this a minute ago, but I do kind of think that she had, because she kept being like deflecting, being like, all your issues are with your dad. Clearly they're not, because, I mean, they all have issues with NeNe too. Like, it's not just all on Greg's responsibility.
Well, do they all have issues? Or because the only person that I saw talking was Damien, who obviously doesn't have a problem with communication like his dad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if they, because you know every family kind of has that outspoken person. Like in
Yeah.
my family, it's me or my brother.
Yeah.
But we have like two other siblings that kind of just like,
it's
you know,
me
and,
too, yeah.
and sometimes you're elected to be the voice of the people.
Because the other one seemed like it was cool,
Yeah.
like, whatever, I'm not here yet.
So I
whatever.
don't know if that was because they had elected Damien before they went to the meeting. Like, Damien, you know how we feel. Like, you're the best
You
at
voice it,
communicating.
yeah.
You voice it. Or if they are just kind of like, why are we here? Like, I don't care one way or the other.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just really weird that none of them, like, nobody else really said anything. They were all kind of just, like, letting it kind of blow over and letting
Yeah.
him take all the heat. And then even whenever they were, like, yelling at each other, none of them really stood up for their own damn brother. I was like, what is going on?
None of them even moved.
But it took it went left, like, so quick, and it didn't even have to. And I think, and NeNe was yelling for, like, no reason a little bit.
Yeah,
She just got loud for, like, no reason.
What was their argument about? I really don't know.
I don't know. Well, I think NeNe's just upset about that radio interview, and he gave it a radio. Damien gave it a radio interview. I mean, all of you that watching the show, you probably saw the episode too. But he gave an interview saying that NeNe is very selfish, and she was the reason why they caused their divorce. And the road is two ways. It's not just one person that causes a divorce. It's two people that cause it together, I think. So it's completely Gregg and NeNe's fault. Both of them are complete fault. But I think there's just an unresolved issue that NeNe has held on to.
Yeah, about
and this
the
is her,
interview.
and for some reason it just lit the fire with that, and she just completely blew off completely was going crazy about that.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. It's just interesting.
And then him being like, respect the bloodline. I didn't really get that line. I mean, I loved NeNe's comeback to it, but to be honest, I didn't get why he said respect the bloodline. Like, what is she supposed to do? How did she disrespect the bloodline? I guess that's my question.
Yeah. It's like, I think they were like, you should have made a really effort to get to know us. And if he wasn't going to call us, then you need to call us. And like, if he isn't going to give us our numbers, then you get our numbers. But it's also like, NeNe doesn't know, she isn't hearing from Gregg that they're even having a relationship. So it's like, what is she supposed to do?
I mean, I don't think she should have gotten phone numbers. I don't think she should have forced relationships.
No.
I mean, I'm not a stepmom. I don't know. I'm not even a mom. But I would imagine that that's such a, strange position to be in, because you have to watch every step you make. Every move you make, every word you say has to be calculated so you don't offend your husband, so you don't offend your husband's ex-wife, so you don't offend your stepkids, so you don't offend your real kids. Like,
exactly. And it's also like, she doesn't want to force, because I guarantee if it was the other way and she was like forcing a relationship with them, they'd be like, we don't like you, because you're forcing it. You're like, we'll just let it happen naturally. So the stepmom situation, it's really hard because it's hard for them to win either way.
Yeah.
Like, there's always going to be something wrong, which is understandable. But I think that this whole conversation went so crazy so fast, and there's like no reason. Like, they were just yelling to be yelling. And I was kind of seeing like old NeNe from like previous Real Housewives of Atlanta seasons. And I was like, just trying to talk over somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, just let, like, the two of you just need to get your point out, and that's it.
And Dr. Jeff, like, what are you doing? Why are we paying you to be here?
Yeah. And then,
All right, guys, sit down.
yeah,
No.
sit down. I mean, he looked so bewildered and like out of control.
And he was sweating the entire time. I'm like, why is he sweating?
It was all the damn lights, probably, that the production had set up.
But like, can someone please get him a powder puff? Like, literal perspiration, like, gathered on his nose.
Oil, honey, like, that was running water. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I was like, you know where you're coming. You're coming on camera.
And
like,
no one else was sweating. So I don't know if it was hot in the house or if he was just scared because he knew that, like.
But it was probably like more to him because it's like, this is a career move as well, to be on this show, to be recognized on this show a little bit. So it's like, maybe he's like worried about presenting his best foot forward. But if this is your damn profession, you're going to present your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel.
Well, how did that go for him? Okay.
Not too well.
So.
That's on. Bloop. Block.
All right. So.
I mean, let's move into some predictions.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Spicy in here tonight. I like it. I'm going to predict that NeNe, I think that they're going to really try to almost resolve this issue with the kids. I think that there's going to be an apology from NeNe's end, and I think there's going to be an apology from Damien's end, and they're going to come to like some kind of like come to Jesus moment a little bit. But, and I also am going to predict this, that all the bridesmaids are going to turn against Diana, because I'm sure that Marlo is going to spread like fire between all those girls. Mm-hmm. You never believe what Diana said about all of you. That's going to be my whole heaven and earth, is just watching the bridesmaids fight. It's going to be amazing.
I predict that at least 2 of NeNe's bridesmaids are going to have to wear girdles.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Who do you think it is? Well, we don't know. We haven't met all of them.
Prediction, but I don't really have any good predictions. I agree. I think the issue with the family is going to be resolved. And
yeah.
As far as the bridesmaids go, I predict that they're all opportunists. Boom.
Boom. All right. Well, on Twitter, you can find me at Jake_DuPree, and on Instagram at Jake DuPree. Also on Facebook at Jake DuPree.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Michelle Renee LA.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.